Introducing Dierbergs' newest cookbook, Healthy 2, More Healthy Recipes, a follow-up to our original popular Healthy Cookbook, a great holiday gift for only $12.95.
Welcome back. We are at Dierbergs Bogey Hill School of Cooking and we're ready to make a terrific holiday entree.
That's right. We're going to make our mini pork crown roast with a savory stuffing. It's so delicious and it's perfect when you've got a smaller gathering.
Now, this is something that's a signature item for Dierbergs Meat Department, and you'll want to place your order 48 hours in advance. What you'll get is a pork loin roast. It's surrounded by a rack of ribs. It looks just like this. And even though it looks really impressive, we're going to show you how simple it is to prepare. The first step is to just season the meat. I have a mixture of sage and garlic pepper. I'm just going to sprinkle that on and rub it onto the entire surface of the meat. Now I'll just set the roast onto a rack in a roasting pan. A shallow pan lets it cook the very nicest. I'm going to just cover the bones with foil. That will protect them a little bit during the cooking process. The very best way to tell that the meat is done is to use a thermometer, and if you use one of these probes, it's just great. I like to measure the distance to the center of the meat, and I can just insert that right into the side of the roast. Then I'm going to set the temperature display for 150 degrees. Plug this in. When I put this into the oven, I'm actually going to leave the temperature display outside the oven. When the meat is done, an alarm will sound and I will have perfectly juicy pink pork every single time. It takes all the guesswork out of cooking this roast.
That is by far one of my favorite gadgets in the kitchen, and during the holidays, indispensable.
Right.
So, let's go ahead and make some stuffing. I've got a skillet preheated. I'm going to add some olive oil. I've already chopped some onions, garlic, and celery. I'll add that to the skillet. There we go. And I also have some sliced mushrooms. Add that to the pan. Now I'm going to cook this just for a few minutes until the veggies are softened. All right, the veggies are softened. I'm going to go ahead and take those off the heat and add those to the bread cubes. I'm going to season this with some dry sage, 2 teaspoons. And I'm also going to add some corn. That's an unusual ingredient in stuffing, but that little hint of sweetness is wonderful. More flavor with some dry sherry. Then I'm going to add a can of beef broth. And just moisten the bread cubes and kind of hold everything together. There we go. I'm just going to toss this until it's evenly blended. Okay, looks good. I'm going to go ahead and put it into a greased baking dish, and then it's ready to cover and pop into the oven. All right, here we go with the dressing.
Looks great. It smells wonderful. And the roast is also finished, so we're going to just put it on the cutting board. We're going to let it rest for a few minutes so the juices will redistribute into the meat. Just tent it with some foil. And then I'm going to take the rack away and let Kathy use the pan. Those drippings will make the sauce absolutely wonderful.
That's right. We want every bit of that. I've already got some medium heat started here. Pan directly over the heat. Then I'm going to use a can of beef broth. That'll help me loosen up all those little brown bits. And I'm going to add the rest of the seasoning that was on the pork. Put that in and just loosen these up. Now for a smooth sauce, I'm just going to strain out all of the solids that are left over. And then I'm going to thicken the sauce with a mixture of sherry and cornstarch. Whisk that together. Once I add it, it'll just take a few seconds for that to heat up and thicken.
While we're waiting for the sauce to thicken, we can go ahead and carve the roast. It's had enough standing time now to let those juices set back in. The first thing I want to do is just go ahead and cut the strings. I'll remove those. Then you'll see that this rack of ribs just comes right off of the roast. This is just a really unexpected, fun thing to serve during the holidays, to have the ribs. We're going to cut in between the bones, and you'll cut the entire rack apart. I'll just do a few here so I can show you how it works. Then the center part of the roast, as you recall, I told you it was a pork loin, so I'm just going to divide that. There we go. And then I can just take the roast, and I'm going to slice that maybe a 1/4 inch or so thick.
I'm going to go ahead and plate out some of the stuffing now. I love the flavor combination of this stuffing, but for convenience, you can always take advantage of some of the ready-made stuffings that are in the deli. There's a traditional, and there's also a cranberry apple that would be really nice with the pork.
would be a tasty combination.
More. Let me move that.
All right, we're going to take a couple of slices of the loin. We'll just lay those right onto the plate. And then each person's going to get a serving of the rib bones. We'll lay that on the top here.
And our sauce is thickened. I'll just drizzle a little bit of that over the pork and a little bit over the stuffing. Yum.
Yeah, it looks so good. And it's very simple garnish. Let's just drop a little sage leaf onto the plate for a pretty little garnish.
A little
Oh,
messy
good. I was
there.
going to go for that same little drop there.
Oh, pretty presentation.
Very, very nice. Now in the magazine we have several different entrees that you can choose from, and the only difficult part is going to be deciding which one to make for your special occasion. We have an herb crusted rack of lamb, we have a beef tenderloin with a red wine and caper sauce, an orange rosemary chicken. There's just something for every occasion.
And for sweet treats, for sweet endings for your meal, we've got you covered there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back though, we're going to show you how to make some adorable gingerbread cookies and a delicious turtle pumpkin pie. So stay tuned.